coverage is sponsored by Alat Yusuf, Riyad Al-Imam, and Babylon Money Transfer Services. Stay with Al-Jaliya from the 19th of August until September 5th for new coverage every day. For more information, visit our website at www.aljaliya.ca, or for our new English version, visit www.aljaliya.us.
Thank you. 1 week to go, and most of me is still intact. So, my name is John Beatty. I perform as the strongman. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a mix between old-time vaudeville type strongman stuff and current modern-day world's strongest man type feats. You'll get to see some steel bending, some nail driving, things like that, mixed with a little bit of platform lifting, some stone lifting, things like that. We need a lot of volunteers throughout the show, so if people can come out when I ask, that helps me out a little bit. And we'll finish out with a bunch of little people sitting around up here. Get to load onto the platform, I'll pick up 8 or 10 of you. So, my background in strength stuff, I've been into strength since I was a kid. The first sporting events I ever remember watching was Vasily Alexiev at the Olympic Games in like '76. I'm old. I started training for strength when I was 13 years old. I've trained for over 30 years now and competed in strength sports for the last 20 years. Started out in powerlifting, did powerlifting for 6 or 7 years, and when I got tired of just the 3 lifts, moved on to strongman competitions. Competed in strongman for 12 years, 10 of which I was a pro, and that whole 10 years I was the littlest pro in the pros. Set a world record to silver dollar deadlift with a lift of 1,105 pounds. Held that record for about a year. Ken Brown decided he wanted it back, so he went to 11:11. So finished up, well, at least finished up that part of my competitive era with Highland Games and grip competitions. The grip contests, hand strength stuff is really what led me into the performance. My daughter took a bolt that I had bent into a preschool class. When she went to preschool with that, the preschool teacher asked me to do a little show. So I put together a few things, went into the show. One of the parents there asked me to do a birthday show. One of the parents there was on the town board. They asked me to do a show at the town festival. It's kind of rolled over like that. I never really intended it to be what it is now, but it's kind of cool that it turned out the way it is. Some of you might have seen on the poster out there, I went to American Talent last year and finished up, thank you, finished up in the top 48 and was eventually eliminated by the guy who won it, so I feel okay about that. I didn't get one of the guys that got to be friends with on the show the next week when he got eliminated by the 12-year-old ballroom dancers. I was like, oh, thank God that wasn't me. He just walked off to him. So what I'm going to start out with for you guys tonight is I'm going to need a female volunteer here to come up, an adult, a grown-up female. There you go. Come on up. Are you afraid of heights at all? Great. I'm right out here in front so we don't trip over anything. What I'm going to have you do is cross your arms. You're kind of my warm-up. So she doesn't really weigh anything, so I tell you what, flip your hair over just so I don't pull. Reach in here. And your leg. I want you to turn this way a little. Then just keep your body nice and straight and tip toward me. Thank you very much. All right. So that's a little bit of a warm-up. She didn't really weigh much anything, so just enough to get me loose. All right, next I'm going to need a young person. Girl with the blue there. I guess she bolted faster. Come on up. Would you be willing to hand me this when I'm ready for it? Okay. Come right up here. You don't have to be nervous. I'm not scary. All right, what I've got here is a 5/16 bolt, 6 inches long. What I'm going to do with this is bend it into a kind of a V. It takes about 400 pounds of pressure to do this. I'm going to bend it, and to make it harder, I'm going to have a 260-pound ball of concrete sitting in my lap. I'll pick that up off the ground, set it into my lap, bend the bolt. I'll hand it to this young lady. She'll wave it around, and while she's doing that, I'm going to toss that up onto my shoulder. It weighs about 20 pounds more than me, and no handles, obviously, so it's a little difficult to pick up. Did a lot of stone lifting and strongman, and it was always one of my favorite things. Unfortunately, I was kind of short compared to most of the guys, so I had to learn how to throw stones to the shoulder, because when we had 6-foot-high platforms, I couldn't kick it off my chest and get it onto the platform. A little leather on the bolt to protect my hands. Would you hand this to me in a minute, young lady? Don't bend it first. If you do, kind of hide it so nobody sees it, okay? Okay, thank you. Could you show the crowd, huh? And there's a 260-pound stone up. What'd you think of that? Scary. Would you like to keep the bolt? Okay, thank you for helping me. Thank you, guys. All right, next up, kind of left my book with all my list on there. Would one of you guys throw me that pad of paper there on the desk? Thank you. Get all out of order. Okay, that's what I thought. Next up, where we go with, we have 2 1-inch boards, a license plate, 30 common nail, hammer. So I'm going to shove this nail through everything. Do put a little bit of suede over the nail, just to give a little bit more traction. That way it doesn't slide out, chew a hole in my hand. I've got a buddy that does this stuff out on the East Coast. He's been doing it for about 20 years, and he's experimented with some kind of crazy stuff for the shows. He worked up to a 70 common nail, which is about the size of a pen, and he does an overhand where he brings it down like that. He found out that that size nail is maybe a little bit too big when you're going through a frying pan and a couple of boards. He wound up with a nail head sticking out about here. So I don't use that method. But he went into the ER, and I've said in prior shows, you do this kind of stuff, your sense of humor and sense of pain are both a little bit off. So he walks in hiding it behind his back, and they asked him what was wrong, and he goes, frying pan and a board stuck to one side of his hand, the nail head sticking out. He said, though, it did speed up the ER service. All of us make a trip or two there when something goes wrong. All right, get a good spot here. All right. You guys want to give me a 1, 2, 3? Ready? 1, 2, 3. I didn't go all the way through. I hit kind of crooked. Nailed them together, but sideways. Thank you, guys. Sometimes you don't hit quite square and it won't go all the way through. All right, next up, a little more steel bending. This time we're going with a horseshoe. What I'm going to do with the shoe, take a leg and bend it down. Bring it back up around so it has a full twist in it. And when it gets done, it's going to wind up looking kind of like a heart. This actually is now the logo for a horse rescue charity out in Vegas. I met one for a booking agent there, and she runs a rescue charity. So She emailed me and asked me if it would be okay if she used it for her rescue charity logo, which was kind of neat. All right. A little bit of a start there, guys. And a little more. Now we pretty much got it out flat. Can I borrow a shoulder from you, bud? Yeah. Hey, a lot of the old-time strongman feats, they used to pound steel bars across somebody until they bent. I'm not doing that to you. That's great. I'm just going to show you about what it takes. All right, there's me standing on the horseshoe and nothing happens at all. So it takes a good bit more than 240 pounds of pressure to bend this. Thank you, sir. We'll bring it on around. Just about there. And what we have here is a horseshoe heart. There you go, guys. Full twist through the middle. Next up, we're going to do a little more overhead stuff. It's a little bit heavier than the young lady that helped me before. This one weighs 255 pounds. It's a beer keg, but it's full of sand. So as you might imagine, when you bring it up, load shifts, moves around. It's a little difficult to stabilize. And again, it weighs about 15 pounds more than I did when I got here. And I'm not 240 anymore, I don't think. After 4 shows a day, it's a great diet plan. There we go. Okay, thank you guys. Next up, gonna need 2 grown men to come up here and help me out. Got a couple guys want to come out? Are you a grown man? You're very small for a grown man. A couple of guys? All right, there's one and another. Come on out. Sorry. What these fellows are going to do is a little tug of war, see if they can open my right hand. I do put a little bit of glove on because another one of those learning experiences. One of the early times I did this, I had five grade school kids on each side, and they took off and pretty much jerked as hard as they could out of the start. I got a little pinch of skin in between the handles. It acted pretty much like a pair of scissors. So I put a little glove on. And if you guys wouldn't mind taking up the slack here on the rope, you guys will kind of tug against each other. Alrighty. You ready? All right, let's go. Can you guys in the back see there? A little bit of a gap between the handles.
This coverage is sponsored by Ala Yusuf, Riyadh Al-Imam, and Babylon Money Transfer Services. Stay with Al-Jaliya from the 19th of August until September 5th for new coverage every day.
Thank you guys.
For more information, visit our website at www.aljalia.ca, or for our new English version, visit www.aljalia.us.